right, folks. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Bucks of America Podcast Cooking Edition. I hope everybody turned into the last episode of Wednesday with Liz, and this is our part two, our continuation of our conversation. You know, Liz has Hunter LA, but she has a couple of recipes up her sleeve that she wants to talk about. And this will be the first time we've ever had somebody talk up rattlesnake. Now I'm going to let her take away with this because this has got me intrigued because like I'm going to be looking for roadkill because I don't always actively go out looking for rattlesnakes. Go ahead, Liz, take it away.
Yeah, so basically Jeff reached out to me and was talking to me about cooking, and I'm just so blessed that we get a lot of exotic meat. I get to go on a lot of different trips, and so we have a freezer full of exotic meat. But he said your favorite meal, and I thought, oh, you know what I really like? I really like rattlesnake because it's so rare, but it is really good. Everybody always wants to try it because I don't know how many people have had rattlesnake, but I know every time I say it to somebody, they're really shocked. And the cool thing about this is super redneck, but do it anyways. You can actually run over a rattlesnake, or if somebody ran over a rattlesnake, you can totally do this as a roadkill recipe. As long as like the meat isn't spoiled or stinky, like if somebody ran over a rattlesnake in front of you, you can totally pick it up and cook it. So I guess I'll just run over like, did you see that pun?
Yes, I did. I heard you.
Yes. Okay. I'm so funny. So actually just a couple weeks ago, we were in Houston, Minnesota, and there was a rattlesnake right on the driveway where we were horse camping. And my friend Allison ran it over. Yes. I can't wait. I couldn't believe it was a timber rattlesnake, actually. I couldn't believe it because I have never seen a rattlesnake in Minnesota. So that was pretty unique to me. But right away I said, we got to pick it up. So we made sure that the snake was dead. Be very careful. And she might have ran it over 2 more times to make sure that it was dead. And we just ended up throwing it in a plastic bag. We brought it back to our campsite, and we laid it out on the tailgate. We cut the head off and we threw it in the fire pit and burned it right away. But the other thing that you would want to do, if you don't have like a fire going, is dig a hole and bury it, just because of the venom in the fangs. So that's kind of the most important part about it. Make sure it's dead and make sure you cut off that head and properly dispose it. Don't play around with it. Don't, check out the fangs because they have the venom in them. And so you want to avoid that. But basically it's really easy. If it's just you can, like I said, cut that head off, dispose of it. And then you flip it over kind of on its belly side, and you'll just take a sharp knife and slice it down the middle of the belly so it's open. You can grab the meat and then grab the skin, and it peels right off. I mean, it's super easy. Otherwise, if you have 2 people, Allison's son actually was part of the whole preparation and cooking, so that was pretty cool to get him involved in it. You can just like hold the meat, and then the other person just peels the skin right off. And if you want to save the skin, just take a stick and you wrap it over itself on a stick, and then you leave it out in the sun and it dries out and you have a snake skin. So that's cool. And you cut off the rattle also. So rattle, and I'm actually hoping to have another child soon, not soon, but maybe in a year we'll have another kid, and I'm taking it to the taxidermy to get a baby rattle made.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but keep the rattle because it's really cool. And so now you have your snake skinned, and then the viscera, basically you just take like your fingers and run it through this slit that you made, this belly, and it all pulls out really easy. Be aware of what's in the belly because it was really gross. This one in Minnesota had a rat in it, and it kind of freaked me out. And I don't like touching snakes or anything, but dead snake is fine, but a rat in the belly was kind of creepy to me. So I think they got some good pictures of me freaking out because I didn't realize the rat was like hanging, like dangling at me. But so basically you just can clean it out, wash it with some water. We just rinsed it off with some water. And then you lay it flat and you coil it out. We just rubbed butter on it and put salt and pepper kind of to taste, and then put it on tinfoil and put it over the campfire. We cooked it for 15 minutes and then we flipped it and cooked it for 15 minutes more. And basically, it should be done in 30 minutes, but if you want to go a little bit longer, that's fine. Or if you have a meat temperature or thermometer, it's supposed to be 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just kind of cooking or whatever, but 30 minutes and it's still kind of tender. Pull it off, let it sit 5 minutes so it kind of absorbs the oil and stuff, and then you can start eating it. It kind of has like the texture of, I would say almost like how it falls apart is kind of like crab, but it's a little chewier than chicken. And I don't want to say it tastes like chicken because it doesn't. It has a really good flavor to it. But
what about does it taste similar to like frog legs? Because I know frog legs can be tender, or if they're overcooked, be chewy.
No, I wouldn't say it would have that texture. It's just a little bit more rubbier. Wow. I can't say this word now. Rubbery. Yes. Rubbery. Rubberier. Oh, it's a little rubberier than chicken. But not really. You just probably want to cook it a little bit better, but you can pull it off with like a fork, or you can just pull it off with your fingers and then you eat it, and it's kind of like the perfect appetizer. I actually said that I want to make rattlesnake tacos sometime. But yeah, and so that's kind of the down low on rattlesnake. It's really easy, and it's really good.
Yeah, it sounds like it. My uncle, when he was in special ops training, when he was back in the 80s and stuff like that, some of his stories would tell us that was one of his meals. And if he could find it, that was one of his more prized meals, just because of how easy it is to prepare. Because you don't have to worry about taking the skeleton off. You just cook it. Once you remove the skin, you cook everything in it, and then you go ahead and you just start pulling the meat off. I think tacos would be delicious, because I do the same thing with pike as well. Because if I'm lazy and I don't want to do the proper way of filleting up a pike, I'll just do pike tacos. Well, I'll just
Hey everyone, Jake with HHA. Super excited to introduce the Tetra and Tetra Max Rise. The Tetra Max and the Tetra Rise is our new 2-pin vertical bow sight that we're coming out with here for this year. So you'll notice a couple things on it. It's very similar to our single pin platform that we've had here over the last 25 years, and really similar to the other sights in the Tetra line. So what we basically did was we took our single pin technology and we merged that with some multi-pin technology. So the way we built our Tetra and Tetra Max Rise sights was we basically dropped the second pin and that vertical pin coming up from the bottom, and then we added a second indicator on the yardage wheel. So both of those are fixed. One really nice thing with this setup is you sight in at 20 and 60 with the top pin, and you don't have to worry about the second pin at all. That second pin and second indicator will automatically be on. So really nice feature there. The Tetra Rise and Tetra Max Rise are gonna come in 8 different frame options. So 4 in the Tetra Max Rise, 4 in the Tetra Rise. Both are gonna come in the fixed Hunter Edition frames. So the Tetra Hunter Edition frame, the Tetra Max Hunter Edition frame, as well as the Hoyt Picatinny mounts in both the Tetra Max and the Tetra Rise, as well as the long dovetail and then the short dovetail bar option that I have on the Matthews bridge lock system. So all the dovetail options within the Tetra and Tetra Max Rise are going to be compatible with Matthews bridge lock system. So within both of these product lines, you're going to get a lot of different options as far as which sight you want to go with. So you're going to get your choice of a yellow or red second pin, red is going to be the standard second pin color, but you can choose to go with the yellow option as well. And then both will be available in either a 10 or a 19 thousandths pin. All scope housing sizes are 1 inch and 5/8, and we do have the same front end that we've had on the Tetra line since 2020 with the macro gain adjustments as well as your micro adjustments as well for windage. New on the Tetra Rise this year, you're going to notice that there is a new needle carrier. So this needle carrier obviously has the 2 indicators, but you will see that it is a red anodized needle carrier to really call out where your needles are at. On the Tetra and Tetra Max Rise, we'll be able to achieve longer distances. So we have built the longest tape sets that we've ever offered in our company's history. So guys are going to be able to get out to 120, 130, 140, 150, and in some situations even farther depending on your arrow setup. So just making sure that we're getting arrow clearance, but really nice feature to be able to just step out in the backyard or head out to the 3D course to shoot out to some of those longer distances. On the hunting side of things, this is one of the nicest hunting sites that we have ever built. It does have reasonable pin gap spacing with a 1/4 inch spacing. That way, you know, if that deer runs out from 20 to 35, your second pin's on. So the most commonly asked question that I've had so far as we went through this whole setup process is, where does that second pin sit? Well, that second pin is going to vary depending on the different arrow setups that you do shoot. Closest answer I could give you is the most common is going to be somewhere between 32 and 40 yards, depending on how fast your bow is. So you'll likely be somewhere between that 32 to 40 yards with that second pin if the first one's at 20. So along with all other HHA products, the Tetra Rise and the Tetra Max Rise carry a 100% lifetime warranty. All products are 100% made in the USA. For more information, you can visit our website at hhsports.com.
Sit there, pull all the Y bones out, separate the meat, and then just do tacos, and then get a good flavorful coleslaw, and you just kicks off without a problem.
Oh, do you put coleslaw on your tacos?
Oh yeah,
That's my favorite.
It's
That's
kind
my
of
favorite. Yeah.
It's simple because it can hydrate everything. It adds a nice little tang to it, and it's really simple to make. And then you could do it yourself. So there's different kits. Like if I'm doing pike, I like to go with like a Southwest flavor with it. There's a peppercorn and a little bit of Tabasco in there just to kind of give it a nice little kick, and then you're sailing. You're sailing.
That sounds good. Yeah, and with the steak too, it's flavorful. It's actually really flavorful with just like butter and salt and pepper. It has a lot of flavor to it. So my friend's son was like, oh, you could like barbecue it or something, and I was like, I wouldn't even barbecue it because it's just, I mean, it's really good. We had people riding by on horses, and they were shocked what we were doing. You know, they just couldn't believe what we were doing. But I think it's awesome. I think if you ever have the chance to do it, definitely do it. It's so good. Don't be afraid to try it. You know, a lot of people thought it was gross, but it's not. It's one of my favorite, and I highly recommend it. And I feel like I've been to some exotic meat stores that have rattlesnake, and it's very expensive. So you might as well just pick it up off the road and cook it up.
Oh, most definitely. And then when your question popped in my mind, when you're regarding with the lopping off the head, how far back do you go from the head to on the body? Do you go half-inch, 2 inches from the head, and then you lop it off there? And
yeah, I guess I would just go like 1 inch, probably, because I really like the meat and I don't want to waste a bunch of it. But you can just kind of see, even with like the tail, you'll see where the skin changes. And so you kind of cut it off there, but you can kind of see where like the head is, and then just cut that inch off, and it's totally fine. And like I said, just don't mess around with like the fangs or the mouth or anything like that, because it's dangerous. We had a glove, and we had a bag that we ended up, touching it with and all that stuff. So they're not, you don't want to play around with it, but you definitely want to eat it. So
and the unique thing too is like when you want to repurpose that skin, a lot of gentlemen, or a lot of people that make turkey calls, those flints and stuff like that, the what are they called, strikers, those are commonly used. Like rattlesnake patterns are very popular with that. Big John Morton down there in Louisiana, that's what he likes using. He likes using that and using that whatever else people can send him, because it's amazing how many people are like, hey, I got this, like, perfect, here, send it on down to me, and I'll have to whip up a call for you or something like that. He's quite talented with the whole thing, because he does something similar to that out in Montana, where they get to do, and it's I think it's like a 50-man tournament where it's just going out. Well done. It's like kind of like a contest for big birds, stuff like that. 2-man teams, 50 teams, and then you go out there and try to get yourself a bird.
Yeah, I think, and we even have horses. So what we're gonna end up doing is we'll either do it as like have our leather guy do it as an inlay on like a horse halter, or you can do like belts, stuff like that too, or like a bracelet. And then it's kind of cool, like somebody be like, oh, I love your bracelet, and be like, oh, thanks, it's a rattlesnake I killed. Or
and I got to eat it.
I love it.
It's or even if you find the right mixture, you can turn it into a watch band too as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess I just love that, being able to utilize like the whole animal, or like I had dropped that in there that we're gonna try for another kid. I shot a ram, or a goat actually, and he has long white fur, and I want to make a diaper bag out of it, where people are like, oh my gosh, I love your diaper bag, and be like, oh, thanks, I shot it.
Yeah.
Like, just be super tough mom. But all that stuff is cool. I think it's cool when you can utilize all that stuff and it doesn't go to waste, and it's cool stuff. So have a rattlesnake. It's good. Don't be shy.
Yeah. So again, Liz, what are the best ways to reach out to you? Because I know we've talked in the last episode on Wednesday regarding the website after the Facebook page. So anything is that, so you're the one that handles all that communications, correct?
Yep. So I do all of my own communication through Hunter LA. Just kind of like that personal touch, where I love to talk to people. People send me messages all the time about what they've got going on in life. But same thing, if you are looking for a cool recipe, or if you ever just want to drive over to Menominee, Wisconsin and have a meal, we got like 45 pounds of alligator in our freezer. We have aoudad, we have access, we have ram, we have spoonbill. Spoonbill is really good too. My husband's yelling at me all the things that we have in our freezer. But yeah, for sure. Shoot me a message right there on Facebook. I answer everything. So it'd be cool. And I love welcoming new people and helping people out. So
excellent. Well, thank you, Liz. It was a pleasure talking to you. I am now going to be keeping an eye out on the road for rattlesnakes.
Yeah, I'll call you if I find one.
Oh, please do. I will make the trip up there, especially if it happens between now and one of the HJ shoots. It's like we could probably get Jeremy and Rebecca to come out too as well.
Oh yeah, awesome.
Excellent. Thank you.